Today, on the Premiership Perusal podcast, 7/10 of Week 8 is in the books. Fulham get a massive victory over Nottingham Forest. Tottenham absolutely left Leicester in the mud. City cruise to trample over Wolves, and Arsenal don't even have to enter second gear. All that and more on the Premiership Perusal podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs, and the ball in behind Damian Varney! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Varney!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
Yeah, here we are. We had, as I noted in the intro, 7/10 of match week number 8. We skipped number 7. We say we don't want match week 7. We just want 7/10 of match week 8.
Yeah.
And speaking of match week 8, kicking it off, 2 Friday games. I don't think this has ever happened before.
I don't remember it.
Other than like maybe if there was like a Boxing Day on Friday or something.
Yeah. Why would there be 2 Friday games?
Very strange. But anyways, first game of the match week, Aston Villa versus Southampton. To the lineups.
Emi Martinez, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, Ashley Young, Luca Digne, John McGinn, Philippe Coutinho, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, Mr. Kamara, Mr. Watkins. For Southampton, Hans Wheel spins Bazunu, Walker Peters, Perot, Salisu, Bottle of Ketchup, Ward Prowse, Armstrong, Gineppo, El Nuesi, Diallo, Che Adams.
I like the dramatic pause, the build-up, just leaving people on their toes, thinking, what could the lineups be?
Yeah.
I knew you were waiting for me to say it, but I said, no, I stand my ground.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy this game. I'll tell you what.
I hated this game.
I didn't like it either. The first 20 minutes, I don't think anything happened. I'm pretty sure that the ball just kind of got like the wind blew it around and people chased after the ball. I don't think anything happened.
Did anything happen like up until the goal in the 41st minute? Very minimal, if anything. Maybe a half.
I mean, this game really came down to there's a breaking point. I guess there technically is never always a breaking point because you can always end in a draw, but it was, are Southampton going to crap their pants on defense enough to allow Villa to score? But that means are Villa able to get a shot on net?
Yes.
It was the immovable force versus the
unstoppable object.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. The unstoppable force versus the movable object. We went George W. Bush there, mixed up the saying.
You fooled me once.
Shame on you.
Shame on the unstoppable object.
Fool me twice. Shame on believing
Can't
Stevie
move that
G.
force.
But no, I mean, nothing really happens. Villa kind of ramped it up a bit towards the end of half, and then eventually, they do get the goal through Ramsey. I mean, it was a very strange goal off that rebound. Mm-hmm. Thought Bazunu kind of did as much as he could. Salisu, he had a pretty poor game. Yeah. And this was a main part of it. He just headed. He could have just completely cleared it, but instead he's like, no. Yeah, let me just flick it kind of on.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of the first half was just kind of like Villa, like, yeah, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something.
It's like a really bad version of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Where it's like Liverpool don't really have a plan and they just kind of swing balls in and stuff. And
well, I mean, it's only fitting that it's Stevie G.
I know. What's the coincidence? It carries over. Leon Bailey had a good chance before half too, I guess.
Yeah, this man, the man of either scoring or like hitting the post and nothing else. It's kind of all or nothing at that point.
Yeah. So it goes in halftime, 1-0 Villa. Second half, coming out, spells of possession by each side, but they absolutely stink it up.
It was so bad. There was just like nothing. Villa holding the ball. Southampton, when they would get the ball, it was like
See, this is why
no motivation to go forward.
the whole James Ward-Prowse being elite thing that people like to pretend, like if he's elite, he's able to step up in a game like this.
Yeah, to impose himself on
Upon the
match.
game, yeah.
No one imposed themselves on this match.
I disagree. John McGinn throwing down Gineppo.
John McGinn has the captain's curse.
He's had a rough go this year, but this is probably his highlight. He just completely threw Gineppo to the ground.
He's unhinged.
Yeah, I would say that I think it's more of a low light than a highlight, but that throw in at the 85th minute by Salisu when Southampton kind of had possession for the last like 15 minutes or so. That throw in was so bad. The slip out of the hand, like just a hard grounder. Just a hard grounder into the box.
It was like so jarring because it's like you're expecting the long throw and then all of a sudden it's just this like crappy like you said, off the ground.
Well, honestly, it semi-worked because no one was expecting it, but once it was at his feet in the box, I mean, there's enough Villa players around, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like when you got the corner and you just go with the low pass on the ground,
yeah, it's
near post.
Southampton had a free kick chance at the end, but to no
James
avail.
Ward-Prowse not clutch.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to talk about that? I mean, everyone talked about last year how he's so good. And where's the people that are? Where are his
those
fans?
people did not watch this game. Very few people probably watched this game, and to those people, I say sorry because that is 90 minutes of our lives we will never get back.
Imagine me and Hans having to sit there. You're dressed all nice. I think it's going to be a big day. Going to beat Stevie G.
Yeah,
but you know what?
At least Villa, they possessed the ball.
Yeah, Southampton, that was brutal.
That was like a training session. Like,
yeah, but even then, like it really wasn't that much. It wasn't that great because if Southampton had anything to do in this game, if they imposed themselves in any way in attack, I feel like they could have scored. But they didn't even. Did they have a shot on net? I don't remember it.
Let's see. Let's check.
They probably had
the
like
stats.
one soft.
They had one.
Wow.
Villa had 3.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think that says enough about this god-awful game. Villa, hey, they get the 3 points. They really needed
I think,
3
I
points.
think there was some. I think that all the Premier League managers looked at Hasenhüttl and said, "Hey, you gotta lose this game so this guy doesn't get sacked. We need to keep beating up on this guy."
Yeah.
That guy being Steven Gerrard.
What kind of
Aston
sick,
Villa.
twisted world is it? What if Hans got the sack before Stevie G did?
He will never get the sack.
Yeah, he's inevitable.
He'll probably, I think, Hasenhüttl will eventually just like run away.
I mean-
and he'll be like in the woods.
The man survived 2 9-0s.
I know.
That's
How
like
can
a
you sack
cockroach,
him?
you know? He survives nuclear war.
It's impossible.
Crazy.
Yeah, let's move on to the next game. A little more entertaining.
Yes, much more entertaining.
Nottingham Forest and Fulham.
Versus Fulham. To the lineups for Forest: Henderson, Cook, McKenna, Willy Boley.
Oh,
Wow, what a back three.
Willy Boley, Willy Boley.
Nico Williams, Yates, Freuler, Lodi, Awonyi, Gibbs-White, and Johnson. Just like we called for. Dropping Jay Lings, bringing Awonyi
Yeah,
into the lineup.
yeah.
For Fulham, Leno, Tete, Tosin, Ream,
We
Diallo.
still don't know that guy's last name.
They were saying it
Yeah,
Adarabayo or something.
yeah. Adarabayo.
I like Tosin.
I do like Tosin,
You
but
know.
because it makes me think about how Cenk Tosin's no longer with us. Rest in paradise, Cenk
Yeah.
Tosin.
It's like Cenk Tosin lives on through Tosin Adarabayo. Diop, Harrison Reed, Bobby Reed, Pereira, Willian,
Yes.
What year is it?
Yes.
What's going on?
Fulham, yes. Come on.
João Palhinha and Alexander Mitrovic leading the line to
This one.
the match.
Fulham, they looked the better side in possession early on.
Yes.
But unfortunately, one counter-check chance for Nottingham Forest. They win a corner, and off that corner, your guy, the Nigerian Nightmare,
Awoniyi.
heads it in.
Man, we were feeling good at this point because we were like, yeah, bring him in. Scores the goal. Disappointing if you're Fulham just to concede that goal.
Right away. You're thinking
Yeah.
we don't have the magical powers that Craven Cottage possesses. What can we do away from Craven Cottage?
What can we do at the
City ground.
The city ground. The city ground. What can we do? Nothing. I mean, Fulham, the rest of the first half, there wasn't a whole lot that went on. Fulham was possessing the ball really well, but it was just so slow.
Yeah.
And there was like no attacking threat or any sort of like penetration of the defense.
Yeah, I felt Fulham's real best chance was, well, I guess they had a couple of chances, but they had that one where the ref had to make a big call as like on a counterattack and Willian got brought down. It was really close to being a pen, but it was just outside the box. And then Mitrovic, I think, had a headed chance, and Paulinho, he was offside, but the fact he's one-on-one with the goalie and shot like a soft little floater like right at him. That was pretty brutal. I mean, I don't know. Fulham had their chances, but like you said, they were slow. And Nottingham Forest sitting in, that's where you don't want Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, they really were looking quite trepid, I would say.
They were very content to be up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and then
like,
for whatever reason, they came out in the second half and they're like, let's go for a second.
Yeah.
And that's when it all went wrong. But so, second half, Mr. Brennan Johnson had a good chance to get at least a shot off.
Yeah.
Played through. Horrible touch. Pourable. That's how bad it was.
Pourable.
Poor and horrible.
It was pourable. Yeah, right after halftime, chance to hit Fulham with the dagger to put it 2-0. Yeah, and just has the lead foot touch.
That was
played in
brutal.
behind, honestly.
Yeah, they cannot. They really struggled to counter Nottingham Forest for how much like pace they have and stuff.
Yeah, and that's
It
like
feels
kind
like
of
it should
all they
be-
got.
Yeah.
I mean, you play this back five, so then you just sit in and let Fulham have the ball.
Their back five is really more like a back three because two of their guys are like so bad that it equates to they have three guys actually back there. They have five bodies.
That's true. Yeah.
They have five bodies, but three players in terms of skill.
Hey, they look pretty good when they all stand still.
When they're standing still and the other team's passing around, not going towards the net, Steve Cooper's
It
happy.
doesn't look good otherwise. But Fulham say thank you very much. We'll take a chance back to get into the game. In the 54th minute, they find the equalizer again from a corner kick. This time, Tosin Adarabioyo scores from the header, pretty similar to the first goal.
What are you going to do when Fulham bust out the Mitrovic decoy? He's at that point to where he's so good that Fulham are like, okay, our average to crap players, it doesn't matter. If we can just use Mitrovic to take up like three guys on the other team, that'll
Yes.
free it up. Someone's going to have to be open. And once you know it,
Genius.
Tosin.
Absolutely genius. And then 3 minutes later, Fulham grab a second goal after Mr. Paulinho hits a sweet
Oh
first-time
my
strike
goodness.
from outside the box.
That was a rip.
What a fantastic goal.
That was a belter.
Absolutely was. And that was, I feel like that kind of came out of nowhere. It was like you weren't really expecting it. I mean,
Well, yeah, 'cause
Fulham
it's kind of
scored from
like
the
a-
corner, but
Yeah, well, because Fulham had like a counterattack to get that first corner, and then the second one was more, I don't know, kind of like a counter. It's mainly just faster, kind of build-up play, more
Yeah.
direct, kind of going forward, because they had the ball for a little bit. But, yeah, oh my gosh. That layoff
yeah, little pullback,
just
top of the box.
rips it. And then they immediately respond, and add a third.
Yeah,
This time on some more kind of fast build-up counterattack play. But Nottingham Forest just not winning the ball in midfield. That was the difference between these two sides. Is a guy like Paulinho able to win balls in midfield and keep possession for you, get to those second and third balls. Forest don't really have that guy, which is crazy because they signed 21 guys. You figure at one point they have just like a ball-winning defensive midfielder.
They're like looking through the cards. What do I got?
Pacey striker, another pacey striker.
Jay Ling's making TikToks on the bench. Backup goalkeeper.
They're kind of like in
Wooly-bully.
Uno if you get like the draw 6 or whatever. And
Yeah,
you get
you're
a bunch of
hoping
cards,
for something
and it's just
good.
a bunch of trash. You
Yeah.
get like a bunch of 2s. You maybe get like one reverse, and you're like, oh. And you're stuck there like 20 cards. Everyone else is at like 5.
Yeah. I mean, this goal really highlighted how poor Forest defense is when there's like any sort of like, not even fast, but like just like moving forward threat, I guess. Like if you walk towards their defense, they just kind of fall apart and don't know what to do.
Yeah, Fulham getting it wide and another cutback pass. Like no one was anywhere near Harrison Reed.
No, there's just so much space. Mr. Harrison Reed, who literally hasn't scored a goal for Fulham, just runs into the box and like, all right, I guess I'll score.
That was so good when the announcer dropped the, he does not score goals. And he's celebrating with the away fans.
That's how you know it's bad for Forest. They're getting scored on by guys who don't even score goals. I mean, they got scored on by Tosin.
You should have kept your prediction of Forest would be historically bad. Should have kept it. You went away from
That
it.
would have been like the most base take.
The zag, the ultimate zag.
Yeah.
Massive chance for Forest off the corner for your guy, the Nigerian Nightmare, Awanini. And I don't even know, like, head it straight. Like, why are you, like, flicking it to the right? You're clearly, like, near the back post anyways. Why are you, like, flicking it?
Yeah, I think he overcomplicated that one.
Yeah.
He made us look bad.
Reed with a big chance in front of net with a ball from James, but puts it high and wide. Dan James, come on. Look all right. Look better than he had on Leeds.
It's weird to think back on the Leeds stint for Dan James. He just seemed like he didn't have a position. They just kind of threw him somewhere. And they're like, all right, now run.
Yep.
Not to mention Leeds were god-awful last season.
Yes.
So,
Forrest finally hit on a quick set of build-up play through Jane Lings and Mr. Lewis O'Brien. He makes it 2-3.
yeah, it was a pretty rough clearance by Mr. Adebayo. That kind of like the little half clearance that just goes straight to O'Brien.
Yeah.
It's like
Walks right in, rips it.
not ideal.
Forrest kind of kept it going to end the game. Yates with a shot, but right at Leno. The announcer, I have a quote here real quick. You're not a top-class center half until you've broken your nose once.
I remember that quote.
That should be on a T-shirt. And then to end the game, the ultimate highlight. Tim Ream hold up play in the corner.
Dude, that was amazing. That was really good. I think that's Tim Ream's like secret quality.
What was that? Yeah, the center back that's good at a hold up play. That's like, I don't even know what to tell you.
That was top class hold up play. I respect it.
That's like your fastest player being like your goalie, and that's like his attribute. He doesn't have reflexes or like leadership or anything. He's just like really like fast at running.
It's got the intangibles.
So finishes 3-2 to Fulham. They prove they can win away from home, and they keep proving doubters like me and Sam wrong. Forrest,
Yeah.
struggling. They can't find their right style of play. They can't find the right lineups.
Yeah.
It might just be a case of too new, too much, too soon.
Yeah, too many pieces to try and figure out. I mean, especially games like this, going against Fulham at home, this is a game you want to win, especially when
At
you
least
go
a
up,
draw.
When you
At
go
least.
up 1-0 in the 11th minute,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be taking advantage of that. And then to concede 3 goals in 5 minutes, really poor. Shambolic even. You bought all these players, but you couldn't buy a decent center back or a defensive midfielder.
You got Czech Kouyaté on a free, though.
I was wondering, why isn't he playing? I mean,
Did he get hurt? Well, he played last game against Bournemouth when they blew it.
That's fair. Did he start that game?
Yeah, he got the headed goal.
Yeah.
Their first goal. Maybe Forrest are just like a bunch of chokers.
True. There's too much pressure.
Oh, we're up at the City Ground. We
Well,
blew it.
Moving on to Saturday's game, the first game of the day, the early game.
This game stunk.
Wolves versus Man City. This game was hot trash, and I woke up for it early.
Yeah.
But anyways, to the lineups.
Sa, Ait Nouri, Nathaniel Collins. Be real proper with him because he did a bad thing this game. Johnny Otto, Max Kilman, Ruben Neves, Mr. Nunes, Mr. Matinho, Pedro Neto, Daniel Podence, Gonçalo Guedes. As for Man City, Ederson, Diaz, Stones, Cancelo, Akanji, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden.
You know how I cursed this game?
How?
It's because I was just tinkering away with my fantasy lineup after there was 3 games that were postponed, which was like half my team.
Yep.
Well, the first thing I did was I put in a player, I forget who it was, but it was another player that wasn't playing. So I completely wasted it. So then I
Nice.
had to add another player, and I added none other than Nathan Collins.
Nice. The red.
But I digress. Anyways, getting into the game, it
Fast
was
start.
It was a fast start. City wasting no time. Kevin De Bruyne with that cheeky low cross into the box.
De Bruyne.
And Jack Grealish, after Pep,
Oh.
the bald fraud, called him out, saying he wasn't there to score goals or assists, gets on the end of it, takes the lead.
Yeah.
Just City things, scoring right away.
My boy, Jay Greals.
Jay Greals. Can we get a Jay Greals? Jay Greals? Someone Jay.
He's the son of Bear Grylls.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, this game, Wolves responded with a chance with Guedes.
Yeah.
They were in this game.
Yeah, it was weird. It was another one of these games where City don't look that good. And they don't have that dominant possession that we're so used to seeing, which is really strange.
I'm okay with it to a certain extent because, I mean, now at this point, all you need is one chance, and more than, there's at least a 50% chance Erling Haaland's going to score for you at this point. So it's do you need to be as dominant and stuff? I don't know. You don't even need nearly as many chances, I feel like, but it doesn't make me feel as comfortable watching City when they're not holding the ball and they're letting teams do stuff, especially when they have 10 men.
Yeah, that's the difference, I think, is that teams are actually getting into the final third of City's final third, which is weird to see. But anyways,
Rodri's washed. That's all we're saying.
City, despite not possessing the ball that much, doubled their lead in the 16th minute. Who other than the man who cannot stop scoring? Erling Haaland. Hank's guy, Erlings. Straight out of Borussia Dortmund. Wolves were looking better, but City hit quick on the counterattack, and Haaland snuck the shot in at the near post past Jose Sa.
That man's so good. Why is he so good?
It's ridiculous at this point. He's going to break records that have been in place for many years.
The only thing I can say about him is that Darwin Nunez is better.
The comparison not looking so hot right now. I'm gonna be quite honest.
Liverpool bros, we got too cocky.
I think the real comparison would be Nunez versus
Christian Benteke and DC United, and he scored for DC United. So
what can you say? Benteke better confirmed.
Who would you compare Nunez or Darwin Nunez to?
I don't know. He's got to be the worst signing so far, if you consider the money.
Well, I mean, I saw something today that was Naby Keita when Liverpool signed him was for about £53 million.
Yes.
And right now he's valued at like £14 million because Liverpool just like don't play him, and he's
Right, he's
at
always
the end of
hurt.
his contract. He's always hurt and stuff. But I mean, there's something about it feels like tides are turning against Liverpool.
That is true.
You had your run.
Yeah.
We called it a year too soon.
Speaking of tides turning, Wolves, despite playing decently, in the 33rd minute, they see the red tide, the crimson tide, and I'm not talking Alabama. I'm talking Nathan Collins going full Karate Kick mode. He entered the dojo, and only one man walked out.
Right at Jay Grill's chest.
Jackie Grealish didn't see it coming, and he just took it full force.
Yeah, I think the best part about this is that Neves talking to the ref afterwards like it shouldn't have been a red or something. That rules. That rules so much to like defend your teammate no matter what. Be like, what do you want him to do? What should he do?
I mean, he's going to kick the ball.
He had the ball.
He kicked the ball. I think I saw an argument that was like, well, he didn't see Grealish coming. It's like,
all right.
I don't know.
He may have not.
He
And
may
more
have-
than likely, he did not. And guess what? It still doesn't matter.
He literally kicked him like in the chest.
Yeah.
So
City,
Stonewall, red card.
yeah, City just kind of, I don't know, really, really conservative.
They didn't even look like they were up a man.
No, it
Very
was
strange.
it was very conservative. Yet they just kept giving it away way more than they should have. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, it almost looked like nothing changed with the red card.
Yeah. Nathaniel Collins confirmed irrelevant.
Confirmed invisible. Ruben Neves, center back. Let's go.
He was tracking back this game.
Yeah, he was.
That was great. So 2-0 at half. Second half, Wolves look a little better even than before. They didn't look all that spectacular in the first half, but it's more City who kind of looked down. But Wolves looked a little better, had it going early on. After that, went immediately back to kind of just like the first half.
Yeah.
And there was nothing really of note until the 69th minute when Man City, and this is what I mean, this is why it's like I kind of don't worry about them right now, because this goal was like as well worked of a goal as you could have.
Yeah.
The couple through balls, the overlapping layoff, the cutback pass across the face of net, like that was as textbook of a goal as you could ever imagine.
Yeah, the link up from Foden and Haaland, absolutely perfect. The pass to De Bruyne, the finish, just smooth, silky, like a hot knife through butter. It's a different look, City, but hey, when you're winning 3-0,
Hey, when you got the best player in the world, yeah, I said it, the best player in the world, Phil Foden,
Foden
tapping
yes.
in goals. Someone had to
d'Or.
replace Sterling, for God's sake.
Yes,
And he's here, and his name is Phil.
yes.
So it ends 3-0.
3-0. Another loss for Wolves.
On a scale 1 to 10, how hot is Bruno Lage's seat?
Oh, it's getting toasty. Maybe there's like visible
Char marks?
steam, like
Oh, really? I was thinking char marks.
char marks.
Right on his pants. He stands up.
Yeah.
It's got some like gray on his black pants.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting.
It's 6.5, 7 out of
yeah,
10.
They're throwing the pellets on the Traeger. It's heating up. We're getting to temp.
Moving on. Next
Moving
game.
on to the second match.
This game hurt my feelings.
Dude, let's go. Bournemouth Bros. Bournemouth Bros.
Newcastle. What are you doing?
I should have stuck
What
with my
are you doing?
predictions. Forest down, Bournemouth up.
You should have, but
Bournemouth to win the Champions League, confirmed.
to the lineups. Pope, Trippier, Cher, Target, Dan Burn, Joe Linton, Joe Willock, Bruno Guimaraes, Isak, Fraser, Almiron. For Bournemouth. Neto, Mepham, Smith, Senese, Samura, Cook, Lerma, Christie, Tavernier, Billing, Solanke. You know, we talk about what we should have done with all this stuff. You know what I should have done?
Yes.
Always kept the faith with Phil Billing in my fantasy team.
Dude.
I had him for like about as cheap as you can get a normal guy, In the last couple games, he's got some goals.
Yeah.
It's making me feel bad that I dropped him.
I wonder what his percentage picked is.
Probably 0.1, and it was
Yeah,
Hank.
it was Hank.
It just said Hank
Hank.
next to his name. This is the only guy who had Phil Billing in his whole team.
Ugh. Wow, what a legend.
Scenes when you pick too many Bournemouth guys. You try to pick 4.
That should be allowed. It's yeah, all right.
I guess.
We'll let you. But anyways, to the game, some good energy from both sides. It was kind of back and forth to start.
It was mainly the chances just weren't really there. The final third
Yeah.
play kind of lacked it, but
Yeah.
a lot of fast, aggressive play in the midfield in this one.
First chance of the game coming in the 27th minute. Kieran Trippier stepping up on the free kick. Hits the post. Man, the post has just been a cruel mistress this season.
Yeah. We finally had our first post in, though, this week. We'll get to that.
Yes. Throughout the rest of the first half, Newcastle were looking a little more in control, but Bournemouth, they were organized, solid defensively. And just before halftime, Joelinton with a close range effort hit off the post, and then his chance shortly after is saved. And Frazier also has a shot saved by Neto. Kind of a mad scramble in front of the box.
This was an insane sequence by Neto
Yes.
to make all these saves. I would say the one thing I noticed that you didn't know, Bournemouth was getting a lot of the 50-50 calls, and it was St. James's Park was not happy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Was not happy. And you could feel a little frustration boiling over for Newcastle. It's you feel like you might have got clipped. Not necessarily like you want to foul or something, but then you do the exact same thing, and that gets called, and it's like, oh, brother.
Yeah, there were definitely a couple of those. But it goes into halftime, 0-0. Second half, Frazier has a chance go just wide shortly after halftime. And then the goal from Bournemouth in the 61st minute. They stunned Newcastle.
Out of nothing, really.
Yeah, with a well-worked goal. Lerma playing a perfect ball to Phil Billing with just an immaculate finish.
Pope was not ready for that. He did not see Billing making that near post run, and he was leaning in far post. He's ready to get over there because he saw the guy back post.
Yeah.
Phil Billing's like, let me run in here real quick. Boom, tips it. A little redeflect. It's almost like as close as you can get to like a hockey goal or something.
Yeah, that's true.
The redeflect.
That's something you'd expect more from Haaland. I think.
Yeah.
That kind of flick on.
Well, Phil Billing,
Inventive.
Haaland.
Same player.
They're number 2
Very
and number
tall.
3 in the world behind Phil Foden, is what I say.
They're tall. They're from the
Scandinavian countries.
Scandinavian Nordic countries.
Yep.
They're tall.
Yep.
They score goals.
Yes. But right after that, Mr. Lerma, leaving his hand hang out there, said, don't mind if I do. This is very tempting to leave my hand hang right here when I'm in the box.
Yeah, I was surprised it took as long as it did.
Yeah, it took so
to
long.
review. I mean, it seemed like a pretty obvious handball.
I don't know what he was doing. Was he trying to bait Trippier into kicking at his hand and then pulled away real quick?
I don't know. Maybe. It didn't work.
No. Penalty is given. Isak slots the penalty 1-1.
Yeah.
After that little back and forth action, chances for both sides. I'd say the best chance had to fall to Tavernier, who feels like as it goes on is getting slightly better. We need to see some production, but he's kind of like this year's, he's not as expensive, but he's like this year's Buendia, where it's like he was the guy who was getting the championship last year. Yeah. Let's see if it translates and stuff. And
he's got his moments.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of, we're still waiting on it, but you can see it.
Yeah, finishes 1-1. Newcastle, I think you got to say, it was disappointing, the lack of creativity. It looks like they're really missing St. Maximin.
I was going to say, they talked in the summer about selling St. Maximin and upgrading. There is something about the guy that you absolutely need out there. There's not that many amazing dribblers.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you have to always utilize him as your main source of attack. But having a guy that is that good at dribbling and can create that much, it means that much to the fans and the players on the field.
Yep.
You can tell they're missing him.
Yeah.
He's not just a pace merchant.
100%. I thought Isak at times looked decent, but I think it was a tough game for him.
Didn't have the best of service.
Not
The
much
crossing,
service.
the crossing by Newcastle was kind of bad.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Newcastle could have won the game. They had that scramble before halftime, but
yeah, hit the post twice.
But overall, I mean, I think it was a great performance
Deserved.
by Bournemouth
Yeah, it was deserved.
to go to St. James's Park and play with the courage that they did. And see, this is why it bothers me even more when people say that Bournemouth didn't care and that's why they lost 9-0. I mean, you look at this team, you watch this game, they were, running endlessly.
Bro, they sacked their manager and now they actually care, dude. Because there's such a massive jump between Scott Parker's assistant and Scott Parker, and
Yeah.
changing none of the players.
Right. Speaking of Bournemouth, O'Neill up for manager of the month.
How about that?
Excuse my burp. I got too excited. O'Neill, manager of the month. Come on, let's go. Vote him in. Come on, boys.
You know what we need to talk about before moving on?
Yes.
What the hell are Bournemouth's away kits? They look like a tropical, starburst or something.
They look like a Miami vacation.
I thought their black kits were their away kits. I was like, oh, these are kind of plain, but I like them. They're nice. They're
I
clean.
like the black kits with the gold details.
Yeah. I didn't know their away kit was... They copied, Leeds lavender. They're like, let's just take that from Leeds.
Throw on some palm fronds.
Yeah.
They're going for Vibes FC.
They are. But
And I'm giving it to them.
No, you can't. They sacked Scott Parker.
Yeah, but Gary O'Neill. No. I think his name's Gary. He looks like
Gaz.
a Gary. Gaz.
Guys.
Anyways, huge point for Bournemouth. Newcastle, it just kind of goes back to what we were talking about, when the doctor was in.
Yeah.
You got bad news. You're not getting the results you need to get. Bournemouth at home, you need to get all 3 points.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
No matter what your aspirations are.
Yeah.
Even if your aspirations are stay up, you got to beat Bournemouth at home, mate.
Are Newcastle turning into Wolves where they just draw all the time?
They kind of are.
That's scary. I mean, they are lacking the creativity.
Yeah. I feel like they got to get more from wide play.
Yeah.
Moving on. What's the next game? Oh, this game. Absolutely. Can we skip this game?
This game was fraudulent.
Fraudulent. This game, there's one fraudulent team, and it's a team that'd be 12th in the championship if they played down there this year. We're talking about Tottenham, and we're talking about Leicester.
Yeah,
I'll let you break down.
I'm saying it's fraudulent because one team, it was like a no contest.
I'll
It's like medical stoppage.
break down the
No
tape.
contest.
Break down the tape and the lineups.
All right, lineups: Tottenham, Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Langley, Højbjerg, Perisic, Sessegnon, Bentancur, Richarlison, Harry Kane, Kulusevski. For Leicester, Danny Ward, James Justin, Wout Faz. I think it's pronounced Faz.
Wout Faz.
Wout Faz, the small David Luiz, Belgian. Johnny Evans, Castagne, Barnes, Tielemans, Madison, Dewsbury Hall, Ndidi, and Patson Daka.
I tell you what. Leicester did it again by getting their early chance, and they get a pen. Emerson Royale, terrible tackle.
Yeah, to say the least.
Um,
I thought it was Sanchez.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? They're both not very good defenders. I mean,
Yes.
the tackle was just like a absolute.
From behind.
Just dive in.
Yeah. What? Even if you get the ball, what are you doing
What
with
are you
it?
doing?
It's probably going out for a corner at best. Terrible. Tielemans gets the pen. Saved. He's off his line. The cheetah.
That is rough.
Retakes the pen. Slotted. Same spot. 1-0 Leicester. And then Leicester's defense said, hey, guess what? No thanks.
No thanks.
Your lead that you gave us, Tottenham, this is the only fair way to do it.
Leicester, the ultimate scored too soon team.
Oh, my gosh. Harry Kane draws level. Little back post. Wide open. No one there around him. Tap in.
Yeah, pretty much the first chance of the game for Fulham. Or Sorry, Fulham.
How dare
Tottenham.
you? How dare you?
Wrong ham. Yeah, Kane at the back post. Nice service by Kulishevsky.
He's their
I believe.
second best player. I'll say it right now.
And then 21st minute, another corner kick. Tottenham doubled their lead this time through the near post header from Eric Dyer. This was a superb near post header, you got to say. This was like textbook near post header.
It's, I don't know, that one he had earlier this year, crouching Dyer hidden header.
Yeah, I mean,
That was-
respect, week one.
That was pretty good. But
Set the tone for
Yeah.
the near post headers.
yeah,
This
this
is-
was fantastic.
This might be the season of near post headers.
We'll
I
see.
feel like they've gotten the analytics on it, and they're like, everyone knows that you just have to do near post headers now.
Yeah,
So that's like all there is.
yeah.
Stats,
Stats.
advanced metrics.
Well, just like that, it took Leicester 20 minutes to blow the lead, and they had no chance of getting back in. Oh, wait. They're right back in it. James Maddison.
Oh, you miss where Tottenham scored again, but it was ruled out.
I didn't care about that.
You didn't
I
care.
couldn't have cared about that.
Danny Ward cared. Okay.
Could have been 7-2. Good God. Good God, Leicester.
Yes. But
Castagna
anyways,
to
carry on.
Madison.
Carry on.
Madison?
Please carry on.
Is somebody going to sign James Madison this summer?
I feel bad for James Madison being
Yeah.
stuck on this team.
I feel like people are he's starting to become slightly underrated a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's back to playing how he was before, but people like to act like he's shit and he's part of the reason why Leicester suck. And it's like, no. That's like their one guy who's at least pretty decent.
Yeah, they're one guy who, like,
Does
attempts
stuff.
to do stuff.
Yeah. Do you think he could get sold? I don't know what big team he fits in, though. That's my problem.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a discrepancy versus like what Leicester value him and what another team would value him at, and then you also have like the value that he brings to this side because they're so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, can you really get rid of your best player at this point? You are like rock bottom.
Where's the, like, Everton make a terrible financial decision when they're trying to get back on track and they're like, you know what we should do? 60 mil for James Maddison.
Subscribe.
Where's that out of Everton?
I want to.
I don't know. I just don't think there's an actual move for Madison. Because
Yeah,
it was always Arsenal or Tottenham, people felt like. And that makes sense in terms of his quality, but their squads don't make sense whatsoever for him.
yeah, that's what I was
Well, I
going to
guess,
say.
unless you want to say that Conte leaves end of the year and who knows if anyone leaves for Tottenham, depending on their manager, then Madison might make some sense, but still a stretch.
Yeah, I agree. That's a bit of a stretch. A lot of dominoes would have to fall for that to
Yeah.
happen. And then, like, I think the teams that he would do better in, more mid-table teams, probably wouldn't be able to afford him at the price that Leicester would want.
That's what I'm saying. Everton could do it.
Like
Just terrible buy. Just horrible, like,
how about
Richarlison tier buy.
West Ham?
Or was West Ham back to being mid-table? Here, let me pull
Well,
up
this is like hypothetical good West Ham.
No, because I think I think they'll sell Rice and stuff soon. We don't need to worry about that. I don't. The quick answer is no.
It was just it was a brain teaser.
If West Ham was doing what they're doing a couple years ago, maybe. I don't know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Back to this game where it's 2-2. Davison Sanchez hitting the post as it was tipped onto the post by Mr. Ward.
Great save.
Yes. And then Madison had a chance to take the lead back, but Lloris with a big-time save. Lloris really giving Tottenham one last elite kind of year as far as shot stopping, it feels like.
Yep.
He's making a lot of good saves.
He is very consistent in the shot-stopping department, that is for sure. Goes in halftime 2-2. Coming out of halftime, 47th minute, terrible giveaway from Ndidi. Very casual, facing his own net. Gets the ball nicked off of him by Betancourt, who goes and scores on the one-on-one with Danny Ward.
It's shit like this with Leicester where it's like, what did you think? What did you think would happen when you move like 2 miles per hour in midfield with the ball and you're like, and you're like kind of slightly turning and you don't really pass and you're like winding up the pass. Like, you have to have the ball off your foot in less than like a second.
Yeah, it was completely self-inflicted, which is even more frustrating by the fact that in the first half, Tottenham didn't even look that good. Both their goals came from corners.
Yeah, which Leicester is back to conceding on the regular, just like last year.
Yeah. So it's frustrating when you don't even force them to just beat you from open play, but instead I mean, I guess it's open play, but it's, you know what I mean, like actually build
for the most
up.
part, yeah.
You just give them a free goal pretty much.
Yep.
58th minute, great save on Daka from Lloris. That was a big moment. He makes that 3-3. Things maybe go differently.
No.
But in the 73rd minute, after Son got subbed on, he scores. Beautiful goal from outside the box. Terrible giveaway from James Justin, who I think has been like sneaky horrendous this season. He's like always pushed so far up, and then when he's on defense, he's terrible.
And Luke Thomas have been bad.
Yeah, Luke Thomas is not good. He's like a championship player.
Yeah.
But, I think he's like academy, so gets a little more favorable press. 79th minute, Danny Ward making a big stop on Bentancur to stop it from going to 5. But then 5 minutes later, Son hits another fantastic goal. The stunning curler. Leicester just giving him all the time in the world.
You're supposed to do that, right?
Please, Son. Are you winning, son? That's going to be the title of the episode. Are you winning, son?
And it's a picture of Leicester walking in the room looking at Heung-Min's son on a computer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 2 minutes later, Son completes the hat trick. Initially ruled offside. VAR reviewed it, deemed it onside. I mean, this game was so bad. I can't believe how many people were like really hyped about Son doing this to Leicester. It's like people look at it's less about Son, and people need to recognize like Leicester are so bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was the opposite though. People are making it more about Son being so great.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, but the real thing is like, how can you not look at this and see how bad Leicester is?
Right. You want to talk about a team that doesn't care?
Tottenham.
Leicester in the second half. Their defense, midfield.
I thought you were gonna
out to lunch.
I thought you were gonna say team that doesn't care. I was gonna say Tottenham. They just don't care, and they're like, we'll celebrate any win. We'll celebrate being Leicester.
No, I just think it was a pathetic effort from Leicester. I think this game was worse than the 9-0 for Bournemouth. Honestly, the way it ended was just completely embarrassing.
No, yeah, it was a terrible game to watch. They have to sack Brendan Rodgers at some point.
I was just gonna say how he wasn't sacked in the morning.
Because they don't want to pay him.
They don't want to pay him.
They don't want to pay $10 million. I didn't
like
know that they're in dire need for money. That's the case. Why the hell did you pay Soumare like $45 million the other year?
I mean, they just got Fofana money, so that had to help at least a little bit.
Apparently not. Can only bring in Vase.
I mean, to me, that's like
negligent.
Instant sacking, that kind of performance.
The players clearly don't care. There's nothing you can do as a manager to help the team. So
yeah, that's how Brendan Rodgers goes. He's got an expiration date.
Yeah, he's got like
2 or 3 years.
I'd say 4. The fourth year itself is when it goes to crap. Yeah. The first year is kind of a building year, but years 2 and 3, he can give you that oomph.
Yeah. And you're thinking, oh, maybe he's changed.
And you're like, no.
But
people don't change.
Yeah.
And now you're down 6-2, and you gave a second half hat trick to Son.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Everton issue, just having these poor decisions of bringing guys in that aren't going to help the team.
I get like Leicester had so much faith in him and they invested a lot in him, but eventually it's sunken cost, right? Like you're sitting bottom.
Yeah.
After about, not a third of the season, like a fourth? Like a fourth of the season?
8/38 of a season. It's about an eighth, or about a fourth.
It's about an eighth. That's wild. That's wild, man.
Too many eights. Too many eights.
It's more like a sixth of the season.
think it'd be closer to.
No, it'd definitely be closer to a fourth than a sixth.
It's like 4.7 repeating,
Yeah.
something like that. 4.66.
Enough math for the listeners at home. What's the next game?
Sunday game is Brentford versus Arsenal. Another early game. Still lineups for Brentford: Raya, me, Janssen, Ayer, Hickey, Henry, Jensen, De Silva, Janelt, Ivan Toney, and Mbumo. For Arsenal: Ramsdale, Tierney, White, Gabriel, Saliba. Thomas Partey back in the lineup after being injured. Saka, Martinelli, Vieira making his first start. Odegaard picking up a knock in training.
It's messed up.
Xhaka and Jesus rounding out the lineup.
Can't believe your guy Emil Smith Rowe didn't get in once his Odegaard wasn't in.
He's hurt.
He's hurt?
Yeah.
Doing what?
He's got some groin issue that's like related to growing.
Wow.
So apparently he's a growing boy.
Wow.
And has
He's a big, strong young man.
some reoccurring injury with his groin. Very strange.
Could never be me.
And it's not like muscular or anything.
All right.
So I don't know how this works.
You say
You're
so.
the doctor. I just play one on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Did you have a bad feeling about this game when Martinelli had a chance really early and then tipped over? I kind of did. For Arsenal. I was like, uh-oh.
I didn't. No, I was
Okay.
I was like, okay, yeah, good energy. Starting the game.
I don't know. It just
Front
felt
foot.
like this is something that's going to go bad for Arsenal somehow.
I mean, if
But
you
it
asked
wasn't a
me
bad
before
omen.
the game, I was worried just because those long throw-ins are very scary.
They are quite scary. Had a chance for Brentford, but claimed by Ramsdale. Brentford looked a little lively early, and then really after about like 20 minutes or so, it just kind of Arsenal are like an anaconda, like choking out some kind of animal that anacondas choke out. They squeeze the life out of you with their possession,
Capybara. What are those? Capybara?
something like that.
Yeah. The ones that everyone's making memes about too.
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. Something about that.
I would
don't know,
reference
it's
it. I would
pretty mid.
reference in
No cap.
a gazelle or something, but then Nate Diaz would come on here and say no one knows what that means.
True.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal really began to possess, and Brentford kind of just settled for going like for long balls. It's kind of weird. Didn't like that.
Yeah, it was pretty hopeful.
I think it worked for them against United because they used the same formation against United, and they're probably like, we can just repeat that, and it's like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
The defense isn't nearly as shaky.
Yeah.
Speaking of defense, Mr. Saliba,
Can someone say near post header?
how about that? How about that?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Bukayo Saka on the assist. And just like that, we have a Brazilian combination for 2-0. And by Brazilian combination, I mean the pass to Xhaka was from Martinelli, I believe.
Granit Xhaka, honorary Brazilian,
He really is when you think about it.
in his new role of attacking midfielder.
Wenger always knew.
Yeah, he's new. Great ball in from Granit Xhaka behind the back line of Brentford. Excellent header from Gabby Jesus. That is just what Arsenal has been lacking the past couple of seasons. That killer final touch.
Yeah, but better Selly.
Better Selly doing the dancing. Shout out Vinicius.
Vinny. I call him Vinny.
Young Vinny. Vinny Jr.
We need us a Vinny Jr. in the Premier League, but he needs to be an Italian guy.
Yeah.
Arsenal looking comfortable. Brentford can't really strike from anything.
It was like weirdly tame from Brentford.
Yeah.
They just didn't really look up for the match. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah. I think it's because you jinxed them and said you had faith in them.
I think so. Well, I mean, Thomas Frank was talking pregame. He's given all the respect for Arsenal. Oh, such a great team. I think he convinced his own players that they couldn't win the match.
We can't do anything about this team.
They are going to win the league.
Yes.
And we're going to lose.
2-0 at half. Second half, your guy, Mr. Vieira, goes posting in.
Just out of nowhere.
The posting in.
He just rips it. He's like,
Porto's finest.
yo, what up? I'm here.
Fabio. What can you say? Rest of the game, Arsenal just kind of seeing it out. Yeah. Brentford not really able to create much at all.
Super
just a
comfortable.
dud.
It was very much a dud. It reminded me of like mid-season Brentford last year.
Yeah.
Which is very disappointing, the form that Brentford's been on.
Yes.
Maybe the week off, they lost their mojo.
They lost their sting. You get it because they're bees. 3-0, Arsenal.
You feel that?
Brentford.
You feel that sting?
No.
That's your pride talking.
Yeah, not much to say. As far as Brentford, get back on track. That was disgusting.
Yeah, you got to make that one like a one-off.
Yeah.
Get back. Maybe switch some things
this
up.
is the highlight of the podcast for me. I'll be quite frank. I said that they would win one of these games, and the next like 4 they'd score an upset. You even called that it would be this game in particular.
Dude, let's go.
The club of the future.
Club of the future,
Everton,
I believe.
Everton, West Ham, to the lineups. Begovic, yes, absolutely. Tarkovsky, Patterson, Mikalenko, Cody, Onana, Iwobi, Idrissa Gueye back in the team. Anthony Gordon, Demarai Gray, Neil Maupay. It's nice to know that Anthony Gordon isn't head and shoulders above everyone as the best player on the team for Everton.
Yeah.
That's a comforting sign for Everton to look forward to.
They actually have like a team.
A team that makes sense. You have like midfield play, and you have some pacey attackers, and you have some strong clearing defenders, and a center back that can actually play.
It's like, where did this come from? What the heck happened?
Fat Frank. West Ham, on the other hand, you are quite stinky lately. Fabianski, Cresswell, Zuma, Shufal, Kerr, Fornals, Paqueta, Bowen, Sushek, Rice, Antonio. Can Scamacca get a start? Is this allowed? Are we allowed to start Italians in this league?
Nah.
What the hell, Moise?
I mean, that man...
He lost the plot, mate.
He sticks to his guns, sometimes to a fault.
Defensive errors abound in this game for both sides early. It was looking pretty shaky. West Ham just got pinned in their own end early. I didn't like that very much.
Not a good look.
Watching West Ham get pinned, that's rough. West Ham, nice spell of possession around 20 minutes, winning some corners, getting the ball in the box. It just still feels like they have a lack of cutting edge. And
yeah.
I mean, if you look at the stats, you have your eyeballs to watch, but the stats back it up. They're like bottom 5 attacking side.
Yeah, I believe it.
Which is hard to say because there's a lot of poor attacking sides.
Mm-hmm.
As the half goes on, Everton kind of become the team in control of the game again, and Demarai Gray looked good in this one. Probably his best game of the year so far.
Yeah.
Kurt Zuma, big chance before half. Also noticed that the crossing in this half really left a lot to be desired, to say the least. What did you notice in the first half?
I think my first half note was just that Everton, the press was very impressive. and West Ham could barely get out of their half for most of the first half, which was very weird to see.
They're just so slow on the ball. They're so slow. Why are they so slow?
Yeah. Everton, I really like the midfield now. I feel like it's
very defensive-minded, but you have a nice ability to transition to attack.
Yeah.
Because Iwobi is able to go side to side really, really well lately.
Mm-hmm.
Not forward as much as you'd like, but he goes side to side well. And if you get your fullbacks up, because Patterson and Mikalenko are able to get forward, it's a way to work it into your attackers.
Well, I think that's the best thing to do is when you're a team that's struggling, first thing you do is solidify the defense, and you build forward. And that's exactly what Everton have done. Bringing in Cody, Tarkovsky, Patterson being implemented.
Getting plays out of the fullbacks is nice.
It was funny that there was that rumor that Patterson was going to be loaned out. I mean, he does not look like a young player. He looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
He's a big lad. If there's one thing Scotland can do, it's produce some quality fullbacks.
Second half, good chance for Bowen from Fornals, but goes a bit over the bar.
Yeah, disappointing.
Jared Bowen, you feel like last year that might go in. Will be a nice pass, and it's finished from Neil Maupay.
The turn, the volley.
What was that?
Oh, Everton, Neil Maupay, let's go.
Uh-oh.
Let's go.
He's redeeming himself after the fact they shot it right at Alisson in the derby.
Yeah, well.
Everton looked to spring in to attack more than build out of possession. They're kind of more comfortable, kind of just sitting back a little bit and then springing on the counter. West Ham still going central for the middle third and then really pushing it out wide for that final third. And their crossing just not good. Not good enough. And who's winning headers for them? It's not like Soucek's in the box when they're swinging these in a lot of times.
I mean, not to mention you're trying to swing balls into the box against Cody and Tarkovsky, which that's like their bread and butter.
You should be smashing your head against a brick wall when you can take 2 steps to the side and work around it. Big corner chance for West Ham on 67 goes begging, goes just wide of the post.
Yeah.
Will be with the chance on 76, but it sails high. Near the end, Begovic save at the 83rd minute. Almost caught out at the 87th minute by Cornet, but the angle is too tight. Why does Cornet not start too? Moyes.
That's what I was going to say. I think Cornet, Benrahma, Skamaka, I think all three should start. West Ham looked a lot better when those guys got subbed
I can't determine whether or not Benrahma should start or not. He's like Southampton as a player.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you start him, he does nothing. If you bring him on as a sub, he plays well. And it's like, what the hell? Where is this? I need this all the time.
I think just West Ham, something I noticed while watching them, I was wondering, okay, what is the issue here with West Ham? Why are they not getting much going? It's like, especially before they made those subs, those attacking subs, on offense, they only commit 3 guys.
Yep.
So it's 3v5, and you have to play a perfect pass. And you look at their midfield is so far back. Rice is almost as far back as the center backs. He needs to be pushing up, and they're just playing way too conservative. They don't put real pressure offensively on other teams. They're just okay, well, we're going to try not to concede goals here, but you have to impose yourself on the game.
Yeah.
Which is super frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like they should either be they first off need much better wide play if that's going to be your main focus, is getting it wide in that final third, because your crossing stinks right now.
Yeah. Cresswell, I think has been god awful.
Yeah, they really need to focus more in the central part of the pitch and linking up play that way. But even if, building out of the back, it's just so slow. How about you work it to the midfield, they work it back, and then the defense kind of hits one long for someone to chase? You don't want to just be that your only, supply of attack, but at least it's something different rather than just slowly passing the ball around the back.
Yeah, it's too slow, too predictable.
The main thing they really should be going for is quicker link-up play. That's what West Ham did so well the last couple of years. Yeah. Fast link-up play going forward.
And even when they do get the ball up, then there's one guy surrounded by at least 2 other guys, and there's really nowhere they can go with it.
Yep. Poor. But a great win for Everton.
Everton.
They come through.
Let's go.
Fat Frank does it.
Yeah. It will be up for Player of the Month.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Shambles. Arsenal in shambles. Team of the week?
Team of the week. It's Everton. That's it.
Yep, the whole squad. Neto, Cancelo, Saliba, Tarkovsky, White, Billing, Betancourt, Idrissa Gueye, Paulinho, Son, and Jesus.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Even with 3 teams not playing. That's a solid team.
It really is. All right. Well, no Premier League this next week.
Yeah, international break of sadness. Shout out to everyone who watched the U.S. lose at 8:26 in the morning Central Time.
Oof.
Very random.
Well, next week we will be back with a pod. We just had a narrative pod. I might have to do more deep diving research. Might do a pod where we do a little more stuff like panic. Are we gonna panic on teams? We're gonna do a little deep diving. Maybe I bring up some stats, some statistics.
Hank's gotta go to the lab and see what he can cook up.
Exactly. That's
mad scientist Hank.
They make me do it in 2 out of 3 weeks. It's unbelievable. I just want to watch the games, people.
Yeah.
But here I am. I have to come up with narratives in my own mind. My sick, twisted, demented mind.
I like to think you're just like sitting in your car, like talking to yourself, like, oh, we could do this. No, that won't work. That won't work. We could.
That's me in my office.
Talk about Wolves and the issues that they have.
That's what I do. That's exactly what I do.
Yes. And then there's Brentford and also Brighton haven't played. We don't know what Brighton's gonna do.
That's pretty much what I do.
I mean, we live it, breathe it, eat it, sleep it. Premier League. That's what we do on this podcast.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank all the listeners out there.
The support has been unreal.
Yeah.
77 views on the last one. Thank you so much.
Let's keep crack-a-lacking. We're getting it higher. We're going to be better than ever. Until next time. Adios.
Bye.